Do you want to tell me a little bit about Herb Club?
Herb Club is, I started Herb Club based on a need I was getting from parents because for 11 years, I wrote the individual issues of Herbal Roots zine. I have over 130 individual ebooks over on 130 different herbs. And when I created it, it was basically a personal resource for myself to teach my own kids herbalism, but I had interest from my homeschooling community to use it, so I started sharing it with the world. And we had parents that love it, but a lot of them would be like, there's so much material there, they didn't know how to present it to their kids. And I get that because as a former homeschooling parent, I understood how when you're trying to put together a curriculum, it can be hard to just get materials that don't tell you how to present it to your child. And if it's not your main focus or interest or something that you know a lot about, it can be really hard to present that material to your children. So I created Herb Club to sort of bridge that gap between the curriculum and parents. And I gave them a multitude of options to present the materials. And it's a work in progress. I have right now, I think, about 30 herbs on there, and I've got several more in various stages of production to add to the website as I'm able to complete them. But it offers, I have video lessons on there. So for each plant, I give about an hour-long lesson, and you can have your child watch it as just a straight hour-long lesson, or it's broken down into segments and they could just watch one section. So if they're just learning about the botany of the plant, they could just go and watch that. If they're learning about the identification, they could watch that. Or if they want to learn about the medicinal uses, they could watch that video. I also have for the younger kids, I have story time. So I have the herbal story in there, and I have how to make something with that plant. So sometimes it'll be like a salve or a tincture, and I try to have a different thing for each plant. So it has a variety. If you just want, if your child likes to make things, they can go in and they can look for the crafts making or recipes or different things like that. And also teaching them how to harvest the plants. And so it's got a whole catalog of videos for them to access what works best for them. Then in addition to that, I've also created additional curriculum that goes along with each ebook. And so I took the ebook and I created 4 different curriculum supplements. So I have like preschool and kindergartners, 1st through 4th graders, 5th through 8th, and 9th through 12th. And it's basically a guide for parents to use the ebook and teach their children. And they all work together. So if you have a kindergartner, a 5th grader, and a 12th grader, you can teach them all the same thing at the same time, and it'll break it down for each kid on what you should present to each kid so that you can work together. Because that was one of my pet peeves with homeschooling, is I had 2 different kids in 2 different grades. And a lot of times the curriculum were conflicting. So it was really hard to teach both of them because I'd have to individualize everything. And so this gives you a chance to put it all together and work. So if you're working with chamomile, you can work with it across the board. You can do this lesson with all of them, but then break it out, and the youngest child can do this activity while the older ones are doing this. And I break it down in for month-long lesson plans, and each month is broken down by the week, and each week is broken down by the day. So you've got 20 lessons in all for the 1st graders through the 12th graders. The preschool and kindergartners is just basically a week-long lesson plan, because I know they don't usually get as in depth. So you can just kind of play along. But there's also storybooks that you could incorporate and read to your preschoolers all throughout the month if you wanted to. And so it gives all sorts of activities, anything from everything in the ebooks to like flashcards and tracing letters and things like that. So it really, in handwriting, it gives whatever level your child's at more opportunities to learn. And I also do book suggestions, try to find herbal or fiction books that introduce herbalism in there, specifically to the plant if I can, but not every herb is listed in books that I've found. So if not, I'll find something that matches that as well. In addition to that, I do have 2 live sessions a month right now, one for parents and one for kids. And the live parent sessions, I have topics geared to parents to talk about aspects of teaching kids herbalism, things like that. And then for the kids, live sessions. We do make-alongs and first aid classes, things like that, that teach kids to use the herbs or to how to make the herbal products. And the make-alongs have been a lot of fun because I'll give them a list of supplies, and so they'll sit there at the computer, and I'm here at my computer, and we work together, and we make a salve together, or we make an oil together, or whatever. And so it's a lot of fun to work with the kids and talk about what we're making and what we could use it for and things like that. So there's so many components to Herb Club, and I've created it so that parents will have lots of tools to teach their kids about herbs. They can use as many or as little as they need to make their curriculum that suits their family.
Nice.
So, and it's a monthly subscription program. You can pay for it monthly. You can purchase it for the year. And I do have a lifelong subscription. If you have several kids and know you're going to be in it for the long haul, that could be a more economical option as well.